The morning felt heavier than usual. Instead of drills or splices waiting on the benches, Harris rolled out a large sheet of paper. On it was sketched a workshop. Rows of outlets, overhead lights, and a heavy table saw drawn at the center. "This," Harris said, tapping the paper with his pencil, "is your first design challenge. Until now, you've pulled wires and followed instructions. Today, you decide the circuit itself. This is the burden of numbers." Maria leaned in, studying the drawing. "So we're designing, not just wiring." Harris nodded. "Every wire you pull is born from a calculation. Branch circuit is the path from the panel to the load. If your numbers are wrong, your wires overheat, your breakers trip, or worse, someone gets hurt." The foreman appeared behind him, holding a breaker in one hand. His voice was sharp. "Tell me, apprentice, what is ampacity?" I swallowed, then answered. "The maximum current a conductor can carry safely." We dropped the breaker onto the table with a thud. "Correct. And what happens when your load is greater than the ampacity?" "Overheating. Fire," I said. The foreman's eyes gleamed. "Good. Remember it. Fire doesn't forgive bad math." Harris turned back to the sketch. "The workshop needs 3 things: lighting, receptacles for tools, and a dedicated circuit for the table saw. You will calculate the branch circuits, choose the breakers, and select the wire sizes. Begin." Maria's pencil scratched across her notebook. 12 receptacles at 180 VA each. That's 2,160 VA. At 120 volts, that's 18 amps. So we need a 20 MP circuit. Harris nodded slightly. And she paused. "Because it's a continuous load, we must size at 125%. That's 22.5 amps. A single 20 MP breaker isn't enough. We'll split them into 2 circuits." Harris smiled faintly. "Well done." Kev frowned at his own paper. "Overhead lights. 12 fixtures, 150 watts each. That's 1,800 watts. At 120 volts, that's 15 amps. So a 15 amp breaker should be fine." The foreman's eyes narrowed. "And if those lights are on for more than 3 hours?" Kevin hesitated. "Continuous load, and multiply by 125%. That's 18.75 amps. So the 15 AMP breaker fails. We need a 20 MP. The foreman gave a rare nod. "You learned slowly." I studied the saw at the center of the plan. Its nameplate read 3,600 watts at 240 volts. My pencil trembled. "That's 15 amps running load. Add 125% for continuous, use 18.75 amps. But startup surge could be much higher." Harris's eyes met mine. "Correct? Motors demand more at start. Breaker must handle both running load and inrush. What size will you choose?" 30 amps with 10-gauge wire, I said, more confident now. Harris smiled faintly. "Good. Safe. Conservative. That is design." Kevin groaned, frustrated. "Why can't we just oversize everything? Bigger breakers, thicker wires, no problem." The foreman's voice cracked like a whip, "'cause oversizing is as dangerous as undersizing. Too large a breaker and the wire burns before the breaker trips. Too thick a wire and you waste copper, money, and space. Discipline is balance." Maria muttered softly. "Every number carries weight." Harris heard and nodded. "Yes, that is the lesson. Numbers are not abstract. They are life and death." We spent the next hour crunching numbers, writing them in columns, checking and rechecking. For the first time, wiring didn't feel like labor. It felt like solving riddles that could burn houses if answered wrong. At last, Harris gathered our notebooks, lighting 2 20 MP circuits, receptacles, 2 20 MP circuits, table saw, 130 MP, 240 volt circuit, balanced, compliant, safe. The foreman added, his tone grave, "And remember, this is only a sketch. On a real site, inspectors will demand to see your calculations. They will check your loads, your breakers, your conductors. Fail once, and they will never trust you again." Kevin sighed, but even he looked humbled. The weight of numbers had pressed into all of us. Harris closed the plan with a decisive hand. "Tomorrow, you will face a harsher trial. It's not just numbers on paper, but balance across phases. Circuits that must not only carry the load, but share it, divide it, dance without tipping the system into chaos. The foreman's voice rumbled like distant thunder. Next episode, the balance of phases.